tuned into the Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G. All right. Welcome back to the show. You are listening to The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. I am your boy, Gerald Graham. You know me as G once again. We are back. We are back to talk about issues that matter to you and your community. Hope all is well with everyone. Hope all is well. It is Monday. The last Monday of July. We're rolling into the month of August. This year's flying by, full of events, full of tragic events. We're going to talk about a little bit of that today on the show, but I want to thank you once again for joining me right here on WPMM Radio. We're here every Monday, Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And I wish on Mondays and Thursdays I can come on and just give you a whole bunch of positive stuff to listen to. But unfortunately, with the way the world is going nowadays, very difficult to do. Very, very difficult to do. So I apologize in advance for the gloom and doom. But if it wasn't happening around the world, I wouldn't have to talk about it. But unfortunately, we have to talk about these issues. So, but let's go ahead and take care of the particulars, because this was supposed to be a different style show today, but I had to switch it up because of what's going on in our community and our nation. So I had to switch things up. But we are WPMM Internet Radio, where we play more music. We play the best in R&B, jazz, neo soul, independent hip hop, and old school music. You can listen from the website, WPMMradio.com. You can go to the website as well and download the app. It's a free app. You can go to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and download the free app as well. We are on YouTube. We're on just about any streaming source out there, if you will. We're on my Facebook page, Ttwg Graham, as well. That's where I want you to go if you want to comment on the show. Go to Ttwg Graham and submit your comments to the bottom section of the comment section. I'm sorry, I said bottom section. But in the comment section, because I do want to hear from you on this topic today, or one or all the topics today. Just tragic what's going on nowadays. Views and opinions does not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of WPMM Radio. WPMM does not intend to align with any religion, ethnic group, club, company, organization, or individual, or anyone or anything. Now that we have that out the way. But today was supposed to be, even though technically Wednesday is the date, July 30th. Wednesday, July 30th is the date where all this started 4 years ago. And today's show was supposed to be my 4th anniversary show, where we was going to just basically sit and talk about how the show got started and how it progressed, and the, different things that happened on the show, guests, whatnot, topics that we've talked about in the past, different events that I've done. As far as we're going to talk about all that, but if you want to wish me a happy anniversary, do so in the comments. I appreciate it, but we're not going to talk about the anniversary show today, unfortunately, like I had planned. So, but if you do want to wish me a happy anniversary, I'm gonna post. You can post on this live today at the bottom of the screen. You can also go to my page and post. I'll go ahead and post the flyer, if you will. And if you want to support the show, please do. Please do. I am trying my best to upgrade and get the best of the best, if you will, so that the broadcast will be more defined, more clear, and that I'm operating out of the second studio, I call it. We have a primary studio, then I have my secondary studio, and we're operating out of the secondary studio. However, I want to make sure the quality is up to par, make sure that we're delivering the best product that we can here on WPMM. So I'm trying to upgrade my equipment. And if anybody know about audio equipment, you know that it's not cheap. And I'm doing what I can. Obviously, my contributions are probably going to end up being the largest contributions. But I'm not I'm not LeBron James. I don't have LeBron James type money. I don't have Michael Jordan type money. So I have to budget, and I have a child in college as well. So I do what I can. If you want to contribute, go to my Facebook page. My Cash App is on my Facebook page, and any contributions would be great. And if I had just a dollar from every listener or a dollar from every person on my friends list, that would help tremendously. $1 to go toward the cause to the Cash App, and it's posted on my Facebook page. It would be tremendous. It would help me out tremendously, bringing a better quality product. But anyway, on today, once again, we're celebrating 4 years, me doing the show, being on WPMM. So I'm glad to hit this landmark. Um, next year, year number 5, we'll throw a big celebration. But this year, we got to talk about these issues. Now, here's what's going on. If you're in the city of Pensacola, in the county of Escambia County, in the Northwest Florida Panhandle, you probably heard about the situation we had going on last night at the Wedgwood Community Center, where there was a shooting that took place. In that shooting, in that mass shooting, because that's exactly what it is. It's a mass shooting. Anytime the government classified mass shooting as any shooting where 4 or more victims are impacted. And now I'm second guessing myself because it might be 3, but we're gonna stick with 4 for now. I'll look it up here later. But we had 7 people shot. 7 people shot. 2 of those 7 are deceased. The other 5 are either in the hospital or I haven't heard about any of the other victims being released from hospitals or whatnot, but they're being treated in hospitals. And one of those victims, is an 11-year-old kid. An 11-year-old kid was caught up in the melee that took place at Wedgwood Community Center on last night. My understanding, it was between 7:30 and 8 o'clock last night when this took place. According to the sheriff department, there was a group gathered outside in the pavilion outside of the community center, where inside there was a basketball tournament going on, and outside it was some a dice game or something going on. And anytime you got dice, I hate to see that every time something go down, is always the word dice come up in the situation some kind of way. But anyway, it's been reported that a dice game was going on at the pavilion there. And then there was a white Hyundai, I think it was Sonata they were calling it, that pulled up. It was a stolen Hyundai Sonata at that. Pulled up. 3 individuals got out. 1 had a long gun of some type. 2 had handguns. And they opened fire. Killing 2. And injuring another 5, one of those being an 11-year-old child. So these 3 individuals, and I cannot leave out the one that was driving the vehicle, because he or she is just as culpable as the 3 that got out to shoot. That person, once they're found, that person will be charged with the same homicides and attempted homicides. So, but anyway, 3 individuals got out the car, opened fire at the individuals at the pavilion, striking 7, killing 2 of those. And now we have families that are grieving the loss of their loved one. We have families that are going to be grieving the incarceration of their loved one. And we have family members and friends out there as we speak that are covering up for those who shot or the one who drove the vehicle. I mentioned earlier, and I mentioned again, the vehicle itself, it was a stolen vehicle. It was reported stolen about a month or so ago. So somebody showed up in a white Hyundai, and family wondered where that car came from. And family and friends, some family and friends knew that that white Hyundai was stolen, and nobody said anything. And now that vehicle is being used and being processed as evidence in a double homicide and a quadruple attempted homicide. But somebody know who was driving that vehicle. Somebody know who had that vehicle. According to the sheriff department today, they are still investigating. They're still looking for the perpetrators, and they're calling on the community to do something. They're calling on the community to tell what they know. And as Chip Simmons said, Sheriff Chip Simmons said, he said there are people that know who these people are. Now, the situation that we have with this, I apologize, you people. Situation we have with this is that we have people that are willing to allow cold-blooded murderers to just roam the streets of Pensacola. I have to venture to say, I'm not a killer, so I can't say for 100% certain, but I would venture to say that if I'm a killer and I know I've killed and I know that I'm being sought after, I'm going to turn desperate. And out of my desperation, any type of attempt to apprehend or to take me into custody, I'm going to resist it, because if I wanted to get caught, I would turn myself in. But apparently, nobody has turned themselves in, so nobody wants to be caught. So like I said, that turns into desperation. So when you're in desperate mode, when you're in desperation to keep your freedom, that's when you do desperate and drastic measures. That means that the community is at jeopardy, is in jeopardy of being harmed once again. So you know, there's a few phrases that people, a hit dog will holler. Trust me, those dogs have been hit, and they're gonna holler if they have to. You can't back someone in a corner and not expect them to react. So it's going to be a I apologize, y'all. I told you if I'm reading something, I can't read and talk at the same time. So if I pause, my apologies. Um, but like I say, it's gonna turn into desperation, and in that desperation, somebody may get hurt. And if these people have the mindset, if they have the complete disregard for human life, to get out of a vehicle and just shoot into a crowd of people, and I'm sure somebody in that crowd was the target. It was probably only one person in that crowd that was the target. That's speculation. I'm guessing on that. However, 7 people fell victim, 2 of them fatally. So if anybody had the mindset to do that in a public setting, not hiding behind the night, if you will, because it was still somewhat daylight out when this took place. Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. I got something going on. Um, and they didn't care who they hit when they were shooting. All they knew is that their target was in that group of people, or their targets was in that group of people, and that they was going to shoot everybody in that group until they got to their target. That's scary. Now we have those people just roaming the streets of Pensacola, which puts me in a defensive mode. It put me in mind in a defensive mode. Now I'm watching extra close my surroundings, because I don't know where I can go in Pensacola and avoid situations where I could be possibly caught up and that desperation when they're trying to get away, what have you. If they, again, I feel like if they done did what they did, killed 2 people, shot, injured another 5, they don't mind shooting again. So I'm looking at the situation out of safety for me and mine. So I have to keep my head on a swivel while these people roam the streets. I don't know who it is. I don't know who people they are. All I know is a crime has been committed. 2 people have lost their lives, and accountability has to be present. It has to come to fruition, because we cannot allow this stuff to keep going on in our community. Um, okay, and just to give you a little bit of the report here, because I'm not sure what's going on. It's like it's taking my internet forever to load, and I'm on the network. I'm not sure what's going on. So my apologies, people. Let's see what we really got. But I'm trying to get the story off the internet. According to the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, drive-by shooting took place outside the Wedgewoods Community Center on Wagner Road during a men's basketball league game just before 8 p.m. Sheriff Chip Simmons held a press conference Monday morning saying men ages 21 and 24 were killed. 5 other people, including an 11-year-old, was shot and hospitalized. Three shooters are responsible for the shooting, according to the sheriff, Chip Simmons. According to Simmons, a group of people were playing dice at the pavilion outside the center, and as a men's basketball game was taking place inside. 3 men reportedly got out of the stolen white car and began firing shots at the group at the pavilion. This car pulls up, drives by one time to come back, stops, and then 3 males get out. Sheriff Simmons said one had a larger gun, an assault type rifle, and the other 2 had handguns. They aimed toward a number of people, a group of people within that small pavilion area where they were playing the dice game. 3 shooters then got back into the car with a getaway driver awaiting them at the scene. Deputies recovered the car, a Hyundai Sonata that was stolen about a month ago near Dunway Lane. The 4 suspects have not been identified, but deputies released surveillance picture of the shooters, asking for the public's help. Now, Chip Simmons, y'all know I'm not a fan of the police. I have talked with Chip on several occasions. Especially right after he got elected as sheriff. And we've had several conversations, and I can say this about Chip Simmons. In our conversations and what I was asking of him in regards to the sheriff department itself, he is he's basically sticking to what he promised to do. I haven't got negative feedback from anyone in regards to his performance on the job. I haven't got a lot of negative feedback on the deputies that serve under him, and I haven't got negative feedback from the community. I think he's doing the best that he can with what he has. But the sheriff department and the police department is only there to respond. They can be a police presence in certain situations to where it may deter someone for doing something stupid if they see a police officer. However, our police department and our sheriff department is not staffed to where they can have a police officer everywhere, any public space. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in Pensacola. It's not going to happen in any city. So in a lot of situations, the sheriff department is responding to stupidity. They're responding to crimes that have already been committed, and trying to minimize and try to litigate the situation. But anyway, Chip Simmons went on to say, now this is the time we need help from the community. Chip Simmons says that now is the time we say this is unnecessary violence. This can't happen. It's time to talk about personal responsibility. Let's talk about the fact that someone knows where these people are. Someone knows where these people stayed last night. Someone knows where the white car they had been driving. Someone knows that. And when I talk about personal responsibility, I'm not just talking about the ones that pulled the trigger. I'm talking about the ones that knew about this beforehand, knew about this after the fact, the ones that are helping them, the ones that helped them steal the car, all those things. I'm talking about the families that noticed a white car that they never seen before right next door or parked in the back, and say, what's going on with the white car, and give us a call. Sheriff Simmons said that shooting was a retaliation of recent gun violence in our area. Let's talk about the fact that I'm sorry, I'm trying to read too fast. Let me slow down with public school. Let's talk about the fact that there have been shootings we've had where no one knows anything about anything. Sheriff Simmons said no one knows who did it yet. However, oddly enough, there's retaliation. Someone knows, and they don't care to talk to us. The families that know what's going on. There's somebody's grandchild, there's somebody's father, somebody's brother, somebody's coach's child. The district May said, we can't believe there's not someone out there with information that can bring justice. No details were provided on the conditions of the 5 hospitalized victims. Community center is closed for investigation. But anyway, there was a report from Commissioner May, District 3. He was at the press conference as well. I was going to reach out to Commissioner May and try to get him on the show, but I was going to try it, but I did not have the time to reach out and enough time to get him on the show. So, but I guarantee you, if I had reached out to him, he would be here talking to you tonight. So, Commissioner May, if you're out there, appreciate your efforts, appreciate your hard work. Chip Simmons, appreciate your work, appreciate your hard work. I appreciate you keeping the sheriff department in check. I'll call you out if I have to, but I to this point, um, I haven't had to call you out. And like I say, I know all your officers can do is respond, if you will. So, but we have to do something in our community, people. We have to do something to get our community back. And when I say get it back from the people that are causing the confusion. Get it back from the people who are stoking fear amongst our community citizens and our residents. Because we have people in neighborhoods who are scared to come outside, or scared to sit on their own porch, who are scared to sleep near windows because they don't know what's going to happen outside their homes as they slumber. We have people that are scared to go down the street to the corner store because you know they know this group of individuals hang out near that store or whatever, and they never know what's going to happen or where they jump off. And it's sad. It's sad that we are living in times, especially in Pensacola, Florida. I grew up here in Pensacola, Florida, and I remember the days of calm. I remember the days where your neighbor looked out for your house. When they knew that mama or daddy wasn't home, they would look out for the house. Back in the time where you can leave your door unlocked most of, during the day and shit half the night, um, and not have to worry about people coming in your house and letting your kids run around. Nowadays, if kids go outside, they're not allowed to go farther than the yard or next door neighbor's front yard or whatever, and they can't go anywhere where they leave sight of the parents. And I come up in a time where hell we was made to go outside. We was pushed outside. We couldn't come inside. Inside was a punishment for us. And we were able to stay outside and not have to worry about the gun violence and being shot and being stabbed and being beat up and things of that nature. We had our neighborhood fights, where friends fight because they get mad at each other, whatever, whatever. But at the end of that fight, we hugged it out and we was back playing ball together and playing football together. Um, but those days are gone, and we cannot try to apply 20th century solutions to 21st century problems. I've said that many times. We cannot apply 20th century solutions to 21st century problems because it's not going to work. What's up, Thee? What's up, Thee? He put a comment on Facebook. Good to see you, buddy. He said the streets will handle the streets. It's a war in the streets, and if you get involved, you have to be ready to battle. Um, that's true. That's true, but we can't just allow the streets to run the community anymore. And there's this wonderful thing that they have now. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I think it's one of the best things ever created when it comes to law enforcement and investigations. And that's this thing called Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers is a beautiful thing if you're not a criminal. It's a nightmare if you're a criminal. But for law-abiding citizens, Crime Stoppers is a beautiful thing. Because with Crime Stoppers, you can simply pick up a phone or go to, if you're scared to use your own phone, go to a convenience store. I don't know if they have pay phones anymore, but go to any phone, any phone that you can find and call a number, and you can tell what you know without giving a name, without giving any form of ID. You don't have to give your address. You don't have to give him any information about yourself. It's strictly anonymous. Nobody will ever know that you call. It's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful, wonderful concept and invention and implementation in the investigations of these crimes. Now, for those people who are scared to say anything because of retaliation or whatever, and don't want their name out there and don't want to testify in court and bring attention to yourself, Crime Stoppers is there. Crime Stoppers is there for you to utilize it, and even with Crime Stoppers, it not only give the police departments and the sheriff department information that they need to help investigate these crimes, it can also put a little money in your pocket. Now, don't go with that don't go with that bull and be just bringing up somebody's name just for the hell of it. If you have credible information on a situation, you know, use that. Use that Crime Stoppers. Use it for the good, because somebody's family is hurting. Somebody's family is mourning the loss of their loved one. Someone's family is planning a funeral today. Someone's family is wondering how they're going to get through. Somebody's father has been killed, and the children is going to trying to figure out how they're going to go on without their father, their brothers. Um, you know, all these people that were people that were killed were young. I think 21 and 24, so they were young people. They may have had kids of their own, but they had mothers, they had fathers. They put another comment. I apologize. I'm just saying it. The community draws a line where we stand. I've seen this over 15 years working with youth. Crime Stoppers is a high risk. I know it. I know it. But I'm gonna still push back on that. I'm gonna push back on that. I understand the fear factor in this situation. I promise you, I do. But we can't let fear overcome us. We can't let fear take over and allow these heinous acts to continue. Um, he said some of the boys involved were some of his students, and that's I know that has to be a hard pill to swallow. Because I used to be involved with the youth myself. I spent 25 plus years coaching youth sports, everything from football to baseball to a little bit of basketball. I even coached a season of soccer. Didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I did coach soccer. Um, so there are some young fellas that I coached coming up over the years that are now in prison that have been victims of violence. Um, to my knowledge, I can't say that I've had one that was killed. I'm trying to use my memory bank to think back on if anybody that played for me lost their life. I do know some of the people that played for me ended up in prison. Um, but we try to save them as educators, as coaches, as mentors, as member of the clergy. We supposed to be the ones out there that's trying to save these youth from themselves. I'm not going to get on the clergy tonight because if you listen to the show, you know how I feel about our clergy and our churches. You know how I feel about them playing a more active role in the community. I need y'all to stop putting on shows. Stop putting on a show on Sunday morning and get your ass out there in the community and do some community work. Go see these kids that are trouble. Go see these kids that are on the corners and hanging out at the parks or whatever and don't have any purpose. That don't have jobs and just hanging out just to be hanging out. Go to them. Don't wait for them to come into your church. And then when they come in there, they get talked about. But anyway, that's a whole nother show. We're not going to get on that tonight. That's a whole nother show. But I do need the members of our church family, the pastors of our churches. We need them to be more active in the community. Um, Mr. Thee said no fish, but the harsh reality is that this doesn't get better. The streets have to respect the communities and fear the outcomes of letting the community down. Um, I understand where you're coming from, but before I leave this earth, hopefully before I leave this earth, I really want to see progress made in this community. We're going the wrong direction. I need us to make a complete U-turn. We need to make a U-turn, and we need to turn around and go back the right direction. Get to where we can enjoy our communities and instead of being scared of what's going to pop off outside of our homes and outside of our community centers and outside of our churches and inside of our churches and uh, at our schools. We shouldn't have to fear being in those places, especially your house, your own home, school, your church. You shouldn't have to fear when it comes to those particular places. But I don't. I'm not trying to judge anyone. I'm not trying to put anybody down. All I'm trying to say, we need to do the right thing. The people that are contemplating criminal acts need to think twice about it. The people that know these people are contemplating criminal acts need to talk these people out of committing these criminal acts. And then fast forward to after the criminal act take place, if you have knowledge of that criminal act, especially if somebody's life has been taken, if somebody lost their life, we can't be quiet about that, people. I don't care who it is. We can't be quiet about that. Now, I'm not talking about if somebody goes up in Circle K and steal a pack of gum or something like that. I ain't saying you need to run to the police and tell the police that you know, little nut stole a pack of gum. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these violent crimes that are taking lives. I'm talking about these criminal acts that are damaging lives, damaging properties, and things of that nature. Home invasions, rapes, child molesting, murders, shootings, stabbings, what have you. Those type of things we cannot be silent on. I can understand, you know, even if you go in Sam's and steal a pack of meat, I'm not gonna run to the police and tell them you stole a pack of meat because we'll let the Sam's employees and security handle that. But I'm talking about doing damage to people and their lives. Accountability has to be had. It's unfortunate. It's a sad situation, and I hate to see it. I hate to see any of our young men and old men. I hate to see them being carted off to somebody's prison. I hate seeing a ceremony where you have that person's face on your shirt, on your T-shirt. Mr. Z said, let's see over. He said, "You got to get students on your show. You will be shocked." I don't see. I understand what you're saying. I don't think I'll be shocked. I think I'll I don't think anything that they say is going to shock me because I'm aware of the mentality, if you will. I just wish it would change. Is my thing. I just wish it would change. I wish that we could get together and as a people, especially the men, uh, get together and try to change the mentality of these young folks. I actually did a show a couple years ago. It's probably about 2 years ago. I did a show. I did a forum where I actually invited the young people into the forum, and we had a show. And there was a group of young men that came in. That was in this one program. Miss Barbara Tyson was doing a program at that time, and she brought some young men in, and they talked about the issues. They talked about their fears. They talked about the reason why people fall into gangs and this, that, and other. So I don't think I'm shocked, um, because I think I got a grasp of what's happening. Peer pressure and being able to fit in plays a big role in how these young people act nowadays, because all of them feel like they have to do what they need to do to fit in, even if that means committing criminal acts. The prison system, the jail system, is obviously not a deterrent, because if it was, they would think twice before they, jump out of a car and go and shoot 7 people. So the getting caught and going to prison is not a deterrent. Um, but we can't give up on our youth. We can't just accept the status quo. We have to do something to um, get a hold of this violence. Thea, I'm not sure what grade level you're teaching at this point, but if I was to do another show that involves our youth, there's a whole process I need to go to, because bringing kids on the show, I have to go through the legal parameters, if you will, to bring them on the show, to make sure we're covering our bases and having minors on the show. Um, but at the same time, I would love to have educators such as yourself on the show, um, because the educators, the school teachers, are the one that spend the most time with these kids, especially during the school year. The parents are not spending as much time as these teachers are with these kids. Because not saying that they're neglecting their kids, I'm not saying that, but the average parent has to work. The average parent worked 8 hours a day. The average parent had to have to spend at least um, an hour in the morning getting ready to go to work. They have to spend at least an hour, 30 minutes to an hour in transit to get to work. They at work for 8 hours. So now that's 10 hours that went by that you not paying attention to your child. Then there's another 30-minute hour commute to get home. You might have to stop by the store, what have you. So by the time you get home, there's 14 hours, 13, 14 hours out of the day that you've been away from your child. And 7 of those hours have been spent with a teacher. By the time you get home, you got time to make these kids something to eat. You got time to talk to them for a hot second, and then it's time for you to get ready for bed and them to get ready for bed to get up for school in the morning. So in a whole 24-hour cycle period during the weekday, these parents are literally spending 2 hours at the most with their kids. Those teachers have them for 7 hours. So the teachers know more than the parents do about their kids in a lot of situations. And I'm not saying that's bad parenting. That's shit. That's just life. If you're fortunate enough to be a stay-at-home parent, um, kudos to you. But I can tell you this: even the best parents, even the stay-at-home parents, you can homeschool your kids. You can You can teach them the right thing. If you're a religious believer, whatever, you can teach them your religious beliefs and what's right and what's wrong, whatever, what have you. But I guarantee you this, regardless of what they were taught in their upbringing, regardless of what values that they were instilled, and regardless of what disciplinary actions that they took as a child, and then as an adolescent and a teenager, regardless of what the punishment was, they're going to get to a point in their life where they are going to do what the fuck they want to do. Period, point blank. We hope that our kids follow our tutelage and steering them in the right direction. That's what we hope for. That's what we wish for. But once they get of a certain age, they're going to start making their own decisions. They're going to start creating their own path as far as where they want to go in life. And regardless of that upbringing, whether it was the best upbringing they could have everything that they wanted, never wanted for nothing. They could have had all the love in the world, all the hugs in the world, all the kisses, all the support in the world. But they get to a point to where they make their decision as to what they want to do with their life and which way they want to take it. And as adults, when they become adults, there's nothing you can do about it. You can continue to give them good advice. You can continue to give them solid advice. You can continue to give them the resources that they need or whatever, but you can hand this all to them. But it's going to be up to them if they make the choice to do right or do wrong. And in that case, the upbringing goes out the window, whether positive or negative upbringing, it goes out the window. I made choices as an adult. I'm not going to say I had the most positive upbringing. I'm not going to say I had the most negative upbringing, but I had an upbringing to where I could have chose differently. I promise you I could have. I could have chosen the whole different path. Because there was people around me that chose a different path and I could have followed along. Or I could have got to a point in my life where I said, I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to follow the path to do the right thing, the path of righteousness, to do right. Not by just for myself, but by others. So I try not to. I don't bother people. I don't bother people, but I don't let nobody bother me either. So I generally push back, in situations such as this, when people, the first thing out of their mouth when something bad happens or somebody does something bad, one of the first things that's said is, it starts at home. That bugs me when that is said, even though it's true in a lot of cases, but it's at the same time it's not true in a lot of cases. Because I promise you, I know people that are in prison right now that had tough parents, that had parents that did not allow foolishness, that had parents to make sure they went to school, that had parents make sure they did their homework, make sure they did their chores around the house. And right now they're in prisons or in graves because of the choices that they made as adults, and they didn't get it from their parents. But the violence that we've had in our community is outrageous, and even with last night's shooting, the same night, um, and the community as a whole, and I tend to uh, talk about my people more than anything because I advocate for my people. Um, Mr. Thee said the real character shows up outside the house. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Because I promise you, and going back to what I was talking about a minute ago, I promise you, I know people that grew up in the most strict households, the most disciplined household, that came out to be people that did some very, very bad things. So it don't always start at home. It starts, like Thee said, once they're outside the house is when it starts. When they're in the home, they have some structure. When they get out there, when they get of a certain age, they make a choice. We're going to either follow this structure or we're going to go a whole different direction. But we have to do something, people. We have to do something. I was talking to a brother today. He hit me up and he was talking about how this weekend has proven that black people, particularly black men, can come together. And what he was making reference to was the call that took place where 20,000, I keep hearing different numbers, 30,000, 40,000 black men took place on this call. And this call was to support VP Kamala Harris in her bid for president. And they raised all this money in a short amount of time for that cause. So this person that called me, and I'm shall remain nameless, he was like, "I'm happy we came together, but why do you?" He was asking me, "Why do I think it took place on the national level, and we can't do something like this locally?" And I really didn't have answers for him because I tried to come up with solutions. I know that here in the Panhandle is very, very difficult to get people to come aboard a positive project or a positive movement, especially when it comes to the black community. And I'm just telling it like it is. If you get mad, you get mad. And I'm not talking about everybody. I'm not talking about all black people. But you rarely find black people, a lot of black people that are going to come out for a cause. When it comes to cause and effect, you're not going to find a whole lot of black people that's going to come up. It's not the 50s and 60s where all black people banded together and marched and this, that, and other. It's rare that you find those situations, especially here in the Panhandle, especially here in Pensacola. But it showed that black men and men in general can come together for a common goal and make something happen because they did it for the Harris campaign. If they can do it for the Harris campaign, we should be able to do something locally to where we can come up with something, whether money for resources or what have you, to do something to help get these kids and these young adults off the streets of Pensacola. There was another shooting last night that took place in Beulah, and some people may not have heard about that one. But there was a domestic situation, and it affects all people. When it comes to violence, violence is violence, regardless of what color the perpetrator is and what color the victim is. Violence is violence. The situation last night, I didn't Beulah, my understanding that somebody killed their mother, their own mother, old elderly woman was killed. Um, by her own son, shot and stabbed, overkill. So we never know where these people's mind is. In a situation like that, I have a somewhat of a personal connection now. I'm not going to go into it right now, but things like that happens. Mr. Thee, I just saw your comment as well. I appreciate you, Mr. Thee. I appreciate you listening, buddy. Man, man, you're gonna have to come on. You're gonna have to come on the show one day, and we need to talk. Because, like I say, you're an educator, and you're out there. You see the people. Let me take that back. My bad, Thee. I didn't mean to say you're out there. I mean out there in a positive manner where you see the good that's happening. You know what's the negative. You know what the kids are thinking and what they're saying because you see it every day. So we definitely need to hook up and come on the show and talk about firsthand knowledge of what these kids are seeing. But he said it's easier to help a stranger than your own family. You know, family. That's a whole nother show, Thee. That's a whole nother show, Thee. And family. That is a whole nother beast in itself. Because I tell you, family support is an interesting thing. Very, very interesting. But anyway, I was supposed to talk about the Harris campaign today, the issues going on there, but I'll say that to Thursday. It is time for me to get out of here. We need to stop this violence, people. We need to do something to stop the violence. We need resources are there. There's things for these kids to do. Talking with Commissioner Lumen May, the county is supplying so many different resources and so many different programs and things to do. There is out there. It's just a matter of these parents getting their kids involved in it. Sometimes youth sports is just not enough. But there's other things in our community that is available that we don't seek and we don't look for the information and is out there. So, Mr. Lumen, Commissioner May, if you're out there listening as well, and we need to get you on the show as well so you can talk about some of the programs that we have for our youth and our young adults in Escambia County. Um, like I said, I know we talked about it before. You and I privately or what have you, but we need to get the word out. I'll try to get the word out. Um, he says those black men gathered to help a stranger for a hopeful cause. They won't help for a cause that they don't believe in. It's the harsh truth. And you're right. People support what they believe in. That's just the honest truth. They will support and take action on what they believe in or what matters to them. If it don't matter to them, they turn a blind eye. That's just reality. And he's right on point with that. They support what they believe in. And if they don't believe that the community is going to get any better, they're not going to invest any time or energy in the community. If they don't believe in the cause. But we got to get more believers. We got to get more believers that we can turn this situation around. We can make Pensacola a safer place to live uh, for our children, our children's children. They have to come up in this society. Our children are our future. They can't govern from the grave. They can't help take care of you when you get old from the grave, from prison. They can't do it. We got to find a way to keep them out of the grave and out of the prisons. Each person has a role to play. I don't know what your part is. I don't know what your strengths and weaknesses are, but I guarantee you have a quality within you that will help a young person. I don't know what it is. Everybody don't have the same qualities, but I guarantee you have something within you that can help a young person and uh, help in the path of that young person. Just have to be willing to get out there and exercise. But anyway, people, it's time for me to get out of here. It's been our Westman. I want to thank you guys for joining me. I'll be back on Thursday, Lord, if all goes well. Um, y'all know Thursdays is rough for me to get on Thursdays, but I will definitely try with everything that's going on. I will definitely try to be on Thursdays. If not, look for me to pop up here and there on Facebook Live and talk about some things and give you updates on what's happening in your community. But if I'm not on, no, I take that back. Dang it, I forgot. Lord, I won't be doing a show this Thursday. Will not be a show with Triple G because I'm not available this Thursday. So got some important things I got to take care of on this Thursday. So I will not be doing the show this Thursday. We'll be back on Monday. We'll be back on Monday, 6 o'clock, WPMM Internet Radio, Facebook Live. Make sure you join me. We're going to talk about these issues. Going to get into this campaign because we under 100 days to the election. And if you got any decency about yourself, I should know who you're going to vote for. If you question your own qualities and your own decency and your own humanity, and you're going to vote for someone who have those same qualities, if you will, who don't have any respect for anybody or respect humanity. If you're gonna vote for that person, you got personal issues. But anyway, we'll talk about that on Monday. But until Monday, people, y'all be safe, y'all be blessed, and I am out of here.